hello there. I was just reading The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield in the bathroom with this person. Who are you?
Oh, hello. I was just sitting in the bathroom with my hammer.
Give me a second. So, we know you're Tasha. Did you say that?
No, I didn't. I'm Tasha. Natasha. Or either one.
Tasha. What creative mediums do you practice?
Okay, that's a complicated question.
Yeah, I bet.
Well, because I was a writer. I joined, like, the creative writing department at my high school, which is, like, an art high
Yep. Go on.
It's an art high school.
Mm-hmm.
And I joined the creative writing department, so I don't know, but I'm like, how my eyes hurt. Why do my eyes hurt? Sorry.
It's okay.
I'm crashing out a little because no, that's not professional. Okay, so I'm not a writer. I don't like writing.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. This is like the third time I've had this conversation, so I'm having a little more emotionally.
It's okay.
I don't like writing, but everyone. Okay, so I feel like I started writing because, like, I know, like, I want to create art because I like to create art, but I feel like sometimes I create art because I want people to be like, whoa, like, impressed by me, you know, because I feel like I don't have, like, impressive skills or talents or, like, an impressive personality, and I'm not, like, a natural. So, like, I make art to, like, you know, but, so I feel like I started writing because it was kind of, like, in my, like, whatever, 8th grade brain, I was like, oh, this is a kind of art form that, like, because you see other artists, like, visual artists around here, and they're like, oh, yeah, I've been practicing since I was 5 years old, and you're like, damn, you're talented,
yeah.
And, like, I could never catch up to you, so I feel like I started doing writing as a way, because, like, I felt like it felt more accessible to me, and I felt more like I could write something, like, kind of, like, confusing with, like, a weird format, and I would be like, whoa, this is so, like, crazy and interesting. I was thinking, okay, here, my eloquent way of saying it, or not eloquent, but this is what I say, like, people ask me, like, my more professional response is, we were having a conversation about writing one day, I don't remember exactly when, but there's this girl, Zosha, who's, like, a beautiful poet, beautiful writer.
Yeah.
And she was saying that she likes to write because it's, like, the most accurate, like, expression of her soul. Those might not have been exactly the words, but that was kind of like the gist of it. And
felt like
it kind of, like, made me think, wow, that's not true for me at all. Like, like, when I write, I'm always thinking to myself, God, I wish I could, like, tell this story in a different way. I wish I didn't have to write this, because when I come up with a story, I, like, have it in my head as something else, and then I have to, like, translate it into writing, because I'm not, like, a writer naturally. It's like, I'm not a writer. I feel like I just write things, but it's not, like, it's never my best work, because it doesn't feel like an accurate expression of my creativity. And I don't think I'm a writer because I don't like to write on my own. I don't get inspired to write unless I have to for something, or, like, and then I get inspired to do other things and then turn it into writing because I have to write. I don't, like, I'm not a writer, I'm just a person who does writing because they want, like, to be seen, like, oh, like, as an artist. But now I'm realizing I can kind of be an artist in other ways, and I don't have to be a writer if I don't want to be, and it's really nice.
Yeah, I feel the exact same way. I feel like, or I feel similarly. I haven't been making films all my life, but I haven't at all, actually. But I feel like there is something about going to school for something that if you don't feel like, you know, this is, like, it can feel like you're locked into that one thing.
It changes things.
Yeah.
And I feel like our school has a problem with, like, mixing, like, we only do one kind of art, and we rarely do, like, collaborations, and we have no other, like, art classes besides our art block, so I feel like I just really didn't have any exposure to any art besides writing. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, because, like, I'm sure there are people in my department who love writing all the time, but I don't, and being in school for has helped me realize that. Yeah.
So you mentioned, like, there are other mediums that kind of feel more right to you. Can you talk a little bit about what those are and what inspires you to create them? Appleberg.
I like animation.
Mm-hmm.
I like to animate. I like to draw also, but I like to animate better.
Yeah.
I like the movement of it. It's another thing about writing. It's very static. I mean, it's not... Okay. Here's my thing about writing. I feel like people often praise writing because it's such, like... It's a medium that inspires so much, like, imagination from the audience because it's, like, you can never exactly... Like, everyone will kind of, like, have a different picture in their head when they're reading it. And I don't like that because I feel like I'm never able to really, truly portray what I am thinking because it's always... It turns into what someone else is thinking. And that's not a bad thing. It's just I want to show people what I'm thinking because I always love what I'm thinking. And I want that to be real. I don't want my story to be like a vessel for someone else's imagination. I want it to be a vessel for mine. Like just like mine.
Yeah. Are there any like specific like animated movies or like animators that...
Ooh, okay. Ooh.
Yeah.
Wait, that's so... Oh, okay. One recently that I've been super into. I just love like the concept and just like the... People often, I feel like, criticize its like medium and say it's like kind of holding the show back, but I think it really shows. It's this show, it's called Alien Stage. It's like... It's on YouTube. It's like a series of animated music videos about these characters in like a fantasy setting, and it's also paired with a lot of like comics of them and like other artwork and art pieces. But it's really interesting to me because I feel like when people like criticize it for its art style and art like medium, they forget that it kind of is just like someone just making a bunch of stuff for their OCs, and it's kind of insane how big it got. Like it got arguably a very large following, it's not like insane, but it's like for what it like originally was, which is just like someone making like a world and some character. It's kind of crazy. And it's really admirable to me because it really inspires me. Just like, wow, you can like kind of just make projects and you can make art and just and you can make art. You can make whatever you want.
Yeah.
You can make it for yourself,
and that doesn't...
and, like, I feel like it really inspired me, because, like, you can really like what you're making, and you can be, like, really into what you're making, and other people might still... Because I feel like whenever, like, when I do write things, I kind of write with an audience in mind, not for myself, so I really kind of want my animation to be for me, and if other people like it, that's great, but I wanna, like, have, like, an arts style that centers around, like, my expression, my, like... imagination. Well,
okay, that leads me to ask about this, like your project that you're doing here. We're at like an arts sort of internship thing. Sunset Media Wave, shout out.
Go follow Sunset Media Wave.
Really great. But so your project is...
That's a plug.
That is a plug. We love them. So, okay. So you're... If you're okay with talking about it.
Oh, yes, I am.
You're
I'm just a little warm, so I'm going to...
You're making an animation for your project.
I am making an animation.
And how's that going?
Okay. Complicated.
Yeah.
I was actually really struggling with it.
Yeah.
Because I
feel that.
Love it a lot.
Yeah.
And I feel really connected to it, like personally connected to it. Because it's kind of like, it's like a story that is... just really personal to me.
And what's the story?
Okay, it's about... No, it's fun to explain. It's about, a moldy tiger. So, imagine if a tiger and a waterfall had a baby.
Okay.
And now, what happens
Picture
when tigers... Yes.
Close your eyes.
Try this at home. Tigers and waterfalls have babies... Well, you would have a really wet tiger. And now, what happens to things when they get wet? They get moldy.
Oh,
and that is where the moldy tiger was born. There's more to it than that, but I won't get into that. But I just like to say it's kind of a representation of a lot of things that I get frustrated about and want to
Do you feel like the moldy tiger?
I don't know. I don't think I feel like the moldy tiger, but I think that's family right there,
Yeah. And how's the process going?
It's actually going really well. I was having a bit of a hard time earlier. Just I was frustrated with the direction I was taking it because I felt like it wasn't like, while I have never really felt completely satisfied with my writing, I also have never struggled to write something. Like I'd have a time limit. Like I'd be like, oh shoot, I have to do this whole project that we spent 2 months working on, and it's due tomorrow and I haven't started it. I've never really felt like I can't do a piece of writing. Like I've always felt like I can, like, maybe it won't be exceptional, maybe it won't be the best, but I've always felt like I can turn in something that will be good enough. And I think that's another problem with my writing is I will kind of forever be limited with writing to just being good enough because I don't have like the passion to actually improve and like, practice. I don't have the writing work ethic. So I was kind of struggling with this animation because it's so different. Like the process of it is so different than anything I've ever done for writing because I actually care about it and I want to put effort, but at the same time I feel so much less confident doing it than with any of my other writing.
Yeah.
But I got over it.
Yeah. How did you get over it?
I had a little discussion with some people here.
And that helped?
Yeah, it helped a lot.
Would you say that often helps you? Like, just to talk about work and brainstorm?
I think I kind of say a lot that I don't really get many solutions from talking to other people. And that's true because I've often complained that I feel like, I don't like talking to people about my problems because they always say the wrong things. And I think they do actually kind of always say the wrong things. But I think even if you don't get answers from other people, the act of talking about it makes you think about it.
Process it yourself.
In a different light. And then you can come to like the correct solution on your own. And I think that's why I'd recommend talking to people about your problems.
I agree.
Because you might get frustrated at being like, oh, these people aren't like giving me the answers that I want. But it's about,
then you know maybe what you don't want to do.
Yeah, exactly.
To some sort of conclusion.
Like you just like getting it out of your head and like doing something with your problem instead of just thinking and thinking and thinking.
Does that ever help you with your writing? To talk about it?
I don't think so. I think no, because I don't have a confidence in my writing that I do in my animation. I don't have the passion in my writing. So having a conversation with other people just kind of disheartens me and makes me feel like I just don't want to do this even more. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think your education experience has helped or hindered your creative process? Hindered. Okay. How so?
I think going to school is so tiring.
Yeah, definitely.
It's so, like, I have a nice life and I'm not going to complain about a lot, but it's just a fact to say that I'm so, it's so exhausting. Especially when you're not, like, very good at school. Like, you have, a hard time just, like, being there and, like, it's so tiring and you can't be creative when you're just so tired. Yeah. All the time.
Have you had, like, you mentioned, like, the one creative writing teacher, but have you had any teachers that you think are, like, have helped you?
Oh, shout out Mr. Kirsch from Roosevelt Middle School. He didn't, like, help my creative process at all, but it was fun. He was funny as hell because I had him during COVID, and he was, like, shout out to him. He had this beautiful quote that, like, lit up my year where he was talking about how when you drink tea, he was like saying that he liked being an adult because when he was drinking tea, there would be like at the end when he was done drinking it and all the sugar was like sugar syrup at the bottom, he could just like eat the sugar syrup because no one was telling him that he couldn't. And that really changed my outlook on life because I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna do what I want. Make more emails.
I don't think we even need to continue the interview now that you told me.
That's so like inspirational.
Syrup thing.
Yeah. So shout out to him because I feel like that guy. We need more teachers who are like. Sorry, I just thought there was a bug on me for a second. Oh, we need more teachers who are like mild depressed. Mild depression does a lot to help you connect with other people. No, that's not true at all. Don't air that. I feel like anxiety, while bad, does make you more... motivate you. And it makes you more aware of other people's feelings, I feel. Or like,
it does make you, I feel like, a kinder person
I mean,
in some ways. Because you're like, oh, like, I'm struggling, so you should be struggling.
Like, this is how I feel feel about, like, people being bullied. Like, I can say this, guys, I was bullied too. But, like, I feel like people who aren't bullied aren't as, like, just, they don't have that, like, oh god, I know how you feel.
I agree completely. It's like, even if you're, like, a lovely person, like, I'm not recommending being bullied, but I think it just brings you a different depth to understanding.
Like, because you just, like, you don't understand what it's like to just have everyone not like actively not like you.
I so feel that.
So it's like, and you just, and, like, it's not that it's good to understand that, but it, like, it helps you to have, like, a kind of, like, have an understanding for people who are struggling.
Have more empathy.
Yeah, empathy for, like, people who are, like, just, you know, because it's
a little bit off, or like not,
or, like, even just, like, in not even situations where, like, other people are being bullied, just, like, because you get what it's like to just have everyone kind of be so disconnected from you and, like, you know, like, bully you and, like, just, like you understand what it's like to be picked on, so you don't pick on other people. I mean, that's not true in all cases, but I feel like a lot of times, like, sometimes obviously it just makes people really bitter, but when it doesn't make people bitter, I think it helps.
It enlightens them.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't support bullying, though, you guys.
Yeah, no, not shout out. Not shout out to bullying.
Not shout out for bullying.
But
if you were bullied, that's the sixth one. That's family right there.
Sixth sense. Of Tasha's
sixth sense of
family.
Sixth sense of, like, being bullied as a child and wanting to be nice to everyone now.
Okay. One more question.
Yes.
Or two more, I guess. If you could give any advice about making art or being creative, tapping into, like, your creative self, what would that be?
Can I give more than one advice?
Yes.
Okay. I struggle with questions that are like, oh,
yeah,
you
you're
say
the
one thing. I'm like,
okay,
oh,
maybe I'll change that.
Okay, well, first of all, I'd say it's never too late. It's not too late, because I feel like, especially now with, like, the internet, people see, like, oh, I'm a 12-year-old artist and I made this, and it's, like, the most jaw-dropping piece ever. Like, it's not too late. You can make, and this is my plug for being anti-AI art. I'm very strongly against AI art because I think it takes away that, because I think it comes from our desire to, like, be praised for our art, because I don't think art should be about, like, yes, everyone wants to make something that's accurate to what they have in their head, and, like, it's satisfying when you make something and you're like, damn, that looks good as hell, you know? Like, that's, you know, we all want that for ourselves, but also you need to be able to make, you need to make really ugly art, and I think, like, it's not too late. It's not, like, you can make bad art for 5, 10, 20 years. You can make ugly ass art, and I support you for that.
That's okay.
Like,
ugly
artists. Don't make AI. Yeah, shout out.
Not that you're ugly, or you're.
Shout out if you don't like your art and you think it doesn't look good, or, like, sound good. Whatever kind of medium you have. This doesn't just apply to visual art. This applies to everything. We love you. We support you. Keep making art. Don't make AI art. Okay, just because it's about. Here, I made it all so now I can say it eloquently. It's about, like, taking a little, sounds a little cringy, but taking a little piece of your soul and taking it outside your body and turning it into something, like, tangible. And I think AI art is not that, because there's no soul, there's no creation process. It's just about a product. Yeah. And that's right. It's so like anti-art to me, because it's not art. There's no expression. There's no creation. There's no. It's just about making a thing and having that thing at the end. And that's why I say it's never too late to start learning how to, like, look at me. I, like, all I've done is writing for the past couple years, and now I'm 180 and being like, no, actually, I don't want to write. Like, it's don't think, oh, I can't, like, I'm not a good artist. Just try things.
I think this is something I've learned too, is, like, people are like, oh, you know, it won't be that bad. Like, but the thing is, like, it's okay if it is bad. Like, it's okay to make bad art. I'm not just gonna say, like, oh, like you don't have to lie and say, oh, I like this, actually. But it's more that it's okay if people don't like it.
Yeah, it's okay. And it's okay to struggle with your art. It's also okay to, like, give up if you don't want to struggle with something. Just, like, don't, like, cut corners with what you're making. Be true to yourself, because I think art should be about creativity and expression, not about, like, trying to get something done. I agree. So just be honest with how you feel about your work. Don't do your art for other people. And I think that's another thing. I feel like AI art is all about other people. Like, it's all about, like, making this. It's like consumption, you know? Like, don't make art for it to be consumed, you know, make it because you're creating something. So yeah.
True.
Like,
okay.
But also be gentle on yourself, you know? Be okay with, like, giving up on something if you're just struggling and not enjoying it anymore, because you don't have to become good at something. Like, I feel like it's another thing. People are like, oh, you have to make bad art to make good art. Like, you know, to make a bunch of bad art to get to a place for being good art. But also, if you don't want to get, like, if it's a struggle and it sucks, you don't have to make good art. You don't have to get there. You can stop anytime. You can try something new. You can, you know, you can become
You can do whatever you want.
Whatever you want.
If you can.
Art should be about, like, you and your, like, enjoyment and your expression, your experience. It shouldn't be about something, like, some specific, like, rule, or it has to look like this, or it has to be like this.
That's
also, like, guys, AI uses so much natural resources.
That's true. People don't know this. Like, AI uses a lot of water. Shout out to AI.
Like, not a shout out to AI, because we are such capable people. We can do so many things, and our, like, reliance on AI and our, like, kind of brushing it off as, oh, well, that's just how it is now, is so kind of insulting to our abilities. Like, we don't need AI, and maybe, you want to use it, but people are like, oh, well, we don't need it, but I want to use it. Well, that's a little fucking selfish. Like, it's really selfish. Yeah.
Support local artists.
Yeah, support local artists. Like, think about other people before you think about making your life easier.
Tasha? Is there anything else
you'd like to add? Go follow Sunset Media Wave.
Sunset Media Wave.
It's definitely a lot of personal experience. Yeah, like, oh my god, sorry, I'm so sorry.
It's okay. That's why I like to do the practice.
Yeah, but why would you
want to
start
start
much
over?
better on the practice?
Sometimes it happens. That's the thing. Also, it's like.
I'm Marley. I'm a senior at Rufus Always School of the Arts, and I go for creative writing.
Nice. Are there any other mediums besides writing that you like to practice?
Yes. So as of recently, I've been dabbling in photography and film.
Yeah. Nice. And what inspires you when you're creating any type of work?
I think it's based most off of my experiences, like with myself and with other people, but mostly about the emotions that it brings. So I think, like, using that art and creativity and turning it into something that has a lot of meaning in it is how I use my creativity in my art.
Nice.
That's, like, my biggest inspiration.
And is there anything, like, a specific project that you're working on right now?
Yeah, so, here at Sunset Media, I'm working on a photography and writing kind of portfolio, a little intro to photojournalism. Yeah, so that's what I'm working on right now.
Nice. What was your process like for coming up with this project? What originally inspired you to do it, and how's it going right now?
So firstly, I think it's going pretty well.
Yeah.
What inspired me was my love for photography and then also for writing. I didn't really take photography sort of as, like, a serious thing when I was younger. I know my mom used to tell me that I would take really good pictures for, like, her and her friends. And I've always just had a different, like, perspective that, like, caught people's eye. And so, like, combining photography and writing is kind of like the perfect medium for me, because it, like, allows viewers to see what I'm seeing in the moment, as well as how I'm feeling it, like, through my writing and what ideas it brings up for me. So that was the inspiration, and also just dabbling in, like, photojournalism, since that's what I'm leaning towards in the future for my future major.
Nice.
Yeah. I don't know what to write about, because I feel like I have a plethora of ideas, like, all the time, like, in my brain, or even if I trying to write from a new perspective or something, I guess, like my old creative writing directors used to say, like new and fresh.
Right.
Fresh language. Like, I could write about the same things from the same perspective, but what's the challenge and like what is blocking, I guess, is learning how to like write new things. And so, um, or like taking a new perspective on an idea that hasn't already been like mentioned or is like the popular idea that
Right.
yeah. Kind of know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you find that like you do your best work when you are like kind of going from your own experience, or can it be helpful to like push to try and find a different perspective?
I definitely write from own experiences, but when I connect very deeply to an experience or something that I've seen or heard, it's really easy for me to put myself in another person's shoes or in another perspective. And I do really enjoy writing from that. So one of my strongest poems actually stemmed from I think a Taylor Swift song when I was a
Nice.
freshman. I don't really listen to her anymore, but it was this song. It's one of her 10 minutes. It's like her 10-minute song. And I remember I used to be so in love with that song. And I don't know, I was like listening to it and I felt the pain, like that, like the perspective she was like singing from. And I wrote like a 3-page poem on it.
Wow.
And it was like my strongest poem freshman year. And I think it's still one of my strongest poems. I would probably have to workshop it a little bit. But putting myself in other people's perspectives that I feel very strongly with, or I can connect to, is another way I gain inspiration. But mostly from my experiences.
Your own experiences. Nice. Do you think you've ever experienced like a sort of creative flow state in your work?
Yeah.
Writing or doing photography?
So photography, it's more like a calming, like leisure thing for me. Maybe not because I haven't photographed very like serious things before. But for my writing, my flow state is 90% when like late nights at 2 in the morning, and I'm like journaling in my bed, and it's like one of like I just bang out a poem like in 30 minutes, and then I workshop it later. But it's usually when I feel very strongly, just about a topic, or I'm reminiscing about something. But my flow state is definitely when I'm feeling emotion and when I allow myself to just feel that. Because sometimes when I'm journaling, like I want to write about something, but I'm not completely there, so I won't. And that's when I like going back to like making time for being like creative. So yeah, that's definitely my flow state when I am feeling my feelings and thinking about how it affects me. Yeah.
Do you find that it's more like when you're alone?
To be creative or follow that feeling that you get when you are thinking about being creative, because I think that's the most important time too. Even if you think like, oh, I can do this later, or oh, it'll come back to me, like trust in yourself that that is the right time. And even if you think it will come back, for me, sometimes it never comes back. And it's so frustrating. So really take that moment that you feel like being creative and like lean into it and make space for it, because we all need creativity in our lives.
Nice. Any
Yeah.
final thoughts?
I know I talk about a lot about art and specifically that, but creativity is literally everywhere.
Yeah.
It's in like jobs or like finding like growth mindset,
Yeah.
like in the workplace or whatever. But be creative because it makes life a little bit less serious and a little more fun and at ease, and I guess sort of calls to like your inner child of being creative and just, experimenting, leaning more into yourself. Yeah.
Am I still in the frame?
Yes.
I'm going to move up a little bit. That's good. I think so. Okay. Can you move forward a little bit more? That's good. That's good. Yeah. Okay. So. Like naturally to you when you're writing, or you get more into sort of like flow state?
There's nothing that like works 100% for certain, but I've found that like if I've been like active, like moving around, exercising, that kind of thing, like I'm able to write a lot better. I have like more of a clear head as opposed to if I'm just sitting in my room all day trying to think of ideas.
Yeah. Can you move more towards the center? Okay. Thank you. So I can see your face.
Okay. Should I move it on?
Let's see. Well, like, see, you're facing kind of more away, so I want to do it.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Does this work?
Yeah, I think so. Okay. What do you think is your biggest creative struggle?
Definitely inspiration.
Mm-hmm.
Especially trying to come up with inspiration for shorter pieces. Like, I think because my book was the first thing that I really wrote, like, seriously, I didn't have that much practice with getting a lot of ideas, like, quickly. I just tend to work with one long idea and then, like, keep going with it and keep going with it, rather than, like, coming up with a lot of new things. So that's been, like, hard for me. Not so much now, but definitely, especially last year, I was feeling a lot of pressure in the creative writing department, and a lot of it was related to inspiration, although a lot of it I found was also kind of related to social anxiety about my writing.
Yeah. In what way?
I would say, like, so I'm a very anxious person,
Me
like,
too.
generally.
Yeah.
And being, like, in a writing department where you have to, like, constantly share your work, but then also, like, the people you're sharing it with are, like, people who you're also, like, friends with, it just becomes, like, a big part of, like, a lot of aspects of your life. So it's hard when you have writer's block and then suddenly, like, you don't know what to do for school, you don't know what to do for fun, you don't know, like, you're worried that it's going to reflect badly with your friends, and it just kind of spirals and affects a lot of parts of your life.
Yeah. Have you found, like, strategies that help you cope through that?
I think just taking it a little less seriously and, like, trying to do things that aren't writing in my free time and just taking a break from it, because I feel like if I get way too focused on it, that's not good, and it's going to lead to me putting, like, way too much pressure on myself to write well. And I feel like when that happens, like, it never works. Like, whenever I write well, it's more spontaneous than, like, pressured.
Do you find, like, are there certain environments where you feel like the spontaneity comes more? So, like, where do you find, I know you said you have struggled, like, with finding inspiration sometimes, but are there any, like, places where you found that you can come back to like, inspire you in your writing?
Yeah, there's a few authors who their writing style just surprises me so much that it kind of forces me to write new stuff. My absolute wife, my goat, my queen, Ursula K. Le Guin.
Yeah.
I love her writing so much. I've read, like, stuff from, like, early in her writing career, later, and I love the way it evolves and the way it changes, and, like, she just has so much writing that I can, like, go back to any part of it and, like, take inspiration from something. She just has so many good ideas all the time. A few others, lately I've been really into Ocean Vuong. Like his writing style is really like lyrical and poetic, even when he's writing prose. So like that always helps when I'm having problems with like the tone of my work.
Yeah.
And then for plot stuff, definitely Tamsin Muir, who wrote the Locked Tomb series. Like, we have very different writing styles, I think. Like, her writing is all over the place. It's very, like, chaotic in a good way, very energetic. But, like, it definitely, like, helps me, I guess, just be a little more surprising with my writing and, like, come up with things that the reader probably wouldn't expect to happen.
If you could give any advice about creativity, what would it be?
I think don't put too much pressure on yourself and try and be a bit more lighthearted with your work. Because if you're too serious about it, then like it's hard to come up with ideas, or if you're judging yourself and thinking that like it really matters what other people think even about a first draft. Just like writing whatever you want and then worrying about it later.
Yeah. When you write for your novel, do you feel like you're able to do that, where you can like just like write freely and then?
Less so now than I used to be. Like when I first started it, I was not thinking about anything, and I think that's why why I'm even keeping going with it in the first place. Like I think if I started a novel now, this definitely wouldn't be the novel that I started.
Yeah.
But like being able to kind of just write whatever in the past has definitely helped me now. Like I have a lot more to draw off of, like, because I was able to do that before, and I hope I can get back to that. But like I think I've gotten like more self-conscious about my writing as I write more. Hopefully that's peaked, but we'll see.
Yeah. Why do you? How do you come up with ideas for your scripts, your films?
I have, conversations, and I like to think of myself as a funny guy. And I usually have, every once in a while I come across a really good bit that I want to expand upon, and then I think about it, I write about it, I research it, and then maybe I'll make a thing. Maybe it's like I come up with like an idea of something I can do, like technically. I made a film over spring break where I just I had been thinking. Well, I had a lot of experience because I go to the movies a lot, and I have filmmaker friends who also like to go to the movies, and so we all go to the movies together. And there's a common experience of one person really doesn't like the movie, and another person really does like the movie. And so I took that, and then I also started thinking about the idea of like one actor playing multiple parts, and like doing like split screen and stuff. And I was like, oh, that's probably pretty achievable. And so I ran some tests, and I was like, oh, I can do that. And then I recorded a little bit where I have an argument with myself about a movie I just watched. And that's an instance. I really, like, frankly, maybe it could have been better, but but I really just wanted to get that like idea out there. And hey, what are you saying? You're right to? It sounded like you're saying right to. It could have been better.
Did I sound? No. I was trying to listen to you. No, I think you are a great film, and I was saying right to listening. Okay. To your answer.
Yes. No. I was being like playful. So I wasn't taking it.
The shtick.
And so we're
Hi.
Hi.
I'm HIldy. This is creativity with HIldy.
Oh my God! I didn't know. I just walked into this room.
Who are you?
Who am I? I'm a little goblin man who usually responds to Jamie Pemberton.
Wow. Never met a goblin before.
Yeah.
Got a lot of those in Chicago? You're from Chicago.
I'm not from Chicago. I'm from San Francisco. Raised, not born. But that's a different story. But I do go to school in Chicago. I attend. Do you want me to shout out my university?
Yeah, shout out.
I attend DePaul University.
Shout out.
So shout out
Catholics.
Blue Demons. I don't care about Catholics. But shout out Blue Demons. So that's in Chicago. But I'm from San Francisco. I'm back this summer. And I'm doing stuff. Are we acknowledging the wave?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm also helping out the wave. This
Sunset Media Wave.
This
arts internship.
This cycle. And I'm an alumni. I've been here 2 previous summer cycles.
We're very happy you're back.
Yes, thank you.
Jamie, what creative mediums do you practice?
I do all sorts of things. Mostly it's like hobbies, but I'm pursuing film at college, and I previously at the Sunset Media Wave I've made films. So I would answer film.
Film.
Yes.
Cool. Who or what inspires you in your filmmaking and in life to be creative?
That's a really good question. Did I say that about the last one? It's just
they're all good questions.
That's just kind of like filler when I like respond to a question. But I would say I'm a big fan of Noah Baumbach's work. He's
shout out Noah Baumbach. Love Noah Baumbach.
He's a great filmmaker, and usually my default answer when responding to that. I love A Marriage Story. I love all of his films. I'm almost done with his filmography, but White Noise is really long, so I haven't gotten around to it. I really appreciate like the way he kind of approaches like human relationships, and it's a very mature kind of way, and it's very realistic, and he's just very. Very impressive, and he puts a lot of himself in his work, and it's they're all very good movies. But he is my second favorite filmmaker, because when I'm seriously giving my answer to this question is Joel Haber, who is a filmmaker who does his work on YouTube.
Yeah.
So he's not like in Hollywood, and most people don't like know about him or seriously know about his like filmmaking work. It's like feature films, and so I am a huge fan of Joel Haber. He is like radically independent. He doesn't all of his films are like fully improvised and like shot.
They're like feature length.
Yeah,
they're over 40 minutes.
Yeah, they're all he does feature films as well as shorts. That are all like fully improvised, with his various groups of friends, and last year he made 12 movies within the 12 months, and it's you might think that like, oh, he improvised 12 40-minute movies, like they're probably all shit, but like they actually are good, and there's so much variety, and I think he's really like an inspiration.
Yeah.
It's great to like see someone showing like another way that that films can be made, because kind of, I mean, I go to film school, I know there's very much like a way that you were like funneled into making movies, which is not unworkable, but it does like restrict the medium a lot, and like he being able to just go out and shoot something, and make it interesting, without like being bogged down in pre-production forever, or working with the finances and crazy budgets, and like just making stuff and not worrying too much about the rest of it. I think that's a great ethos, and yeah, so I'd say that's like my greatest inspiration in terms of pimple related songs, which
wow. What's it called?
It's called Pimple Popper Chart Toppers.
Shout out.
Which is probably like the probably not actually the grandest idea I've like tried to turn into something. Is pretty out there, but it turned out great, and it like the huge part of that was just I had to do it. Like I just had to get it out there, and I could have. I actually did do like a decent amount of research for that. I could have really researched that for years. I could have gotten really good recording equipment. But I just I asked around to the people I knew. I was like, hey, does anyone have recording equipment? One of my friends has like a pretty decent mic. I did some like cursory research, just like mostly on Wikipedia about the song and about pimples. I had to block out the image on the Wikipedia page for pimples. That's really fucking gross.
Wow.
And then I just got it out there, and that's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you ever experience like creative blocks where you feel like?
I mean, yeah. I guess the benefit is that like I have other things that take up my time, school or I guess now I'm doing like temp work for the summer. So like I have other I always have like something I can work on, and then I can like bounce between, and like I have a time where I have a lot of creative energy in one direction, and then I can pivot to NSYNC. That's a boy band joke.
Oh, okay. Nice.
One Direction NSYNC. So that's where I'm just like funny.
Yeah. I laughed a lot. So Jamie.
Yes.
What's your biggest creative struggle?
What's my biggest creative struggle?
Yeah.
Getting other people to help me. It is such a fucking difficult task. Like I and this is partially why I idolize Joel Haver so much.
Yeah.
Because he seems to be like a very friendly person and like agreeable person, because he has so many like different like groups of friends that he like has on all of his different movies and shorts as well, and it seems it's very impressive that he's like manages to like always have someone he can work with in various ways, and always have more people to work with. Like it feels like his cast is always expanding. I like have my friends, but like some they're busy. Scheduling is difficult, and like not everyone is like as into your medium or as you are, or has the skills. Even if like they don't really need like super skills. They might just like not have the confidence to be like I'll act in your thing. Like for in the podcast I made, at the end of the first episode, it ends with a caller, like someone calls into the podcast, which is like because it's absurd because it's a podcast, it's not a radio show. Anyway, and I was like, hey, I asked one of my friends who lended me the recording equipment. I asked, hey, can you just like record these 3 lines to include in the podcast? And I handed him back his equipment and I was like, hey, can you get this like next week or whatever? And he was like, yeah. And so then days pass, and then spring break happens, and I'm like, okay, well, I want to make something. So I make the thing I mentioned previously, and more time passes, and I have a class with him. I see him at like frequently, and I'm talking, and every time I'm like, hey, can you please fucking do this extremely simple task that will take generously 5-15 minutes? And he's like, yeah, don't worry, I'll get to it eventually. And we recorded the podcast in like February. And we released it in late May. The second episode released in early June. So
like 4 months.
So it took a whole fucking 3 months for my friend to send me the dialogue, like literally just like a fucking voice memo, like on it in like text, to send that for this project. My other friend, like the co-host on the podcast, he was great. I mean, we were talking the whole time, and he was like my main collaborator on the thing. But like it's difficult to rely on people when you're making things. And like he is another film student. Like it's not like he's not like interested in it, and he cares about me. Like, but like it's just like it's difficult to get people to do things. And so I guess that's not like a creative struggle. It's more of like a management struggle. But but like, I mean, like, that creates then the mental struggle of like, oh, do I really want to ask this person for a favor, or do I want to like, I guess sometimes like just do it myself, just put in the extra work, or do I want to just not do it? Like sometimes you're just gonna be like, oh, that's too difficult. I don't want to like work with someone else and they're really difficult and they never get this to me. I just won't do it. And so that is like the primary creative struggle. Is like having other people, involving other people.
Jamie.
Yes.
Do you ever get into a sort of like a flow state? Have you heard that term? When you're creating work?
Yes. Yeah. Yes. I mean, it's not like something you can really ever control. Every once in a while, you just like start getting really into it, and it just feels good, and you're just getting ideas out there, and you're getting progress. And other times you're like trying to force a flow state, and you end up just like running yourself into a rut or something. Yeah. And so yes, and then also an evil flow state or something. What
is that?
Like what I just described when you ended up like running yourself into a rut. You're like, I just need to get some ideas out, and you just like stay like at your computer for a few hours, and you're just writing, and then it turns out that like all your writing is just like not actually going anywhere. You're in the wrong headspace. It's just not going to work right now. So like I don't know. Like some of it is just like waiting for inspiration. But if you have like lots of like things you're potentially working on, then like I guess that can help resolve it. You might be really into the script you're writing at the moment. You might be really into a different thing you're shooting at the moment. You might be really into I don't know fucking who knows some like entirely different project, and so or you might just like want to occupy yourself with like a video game or something. Like who knows, like just like having other ways to like occupy your time. I guess like the danger is like you just don't ever do the work. But you should have like other things you're doing, so that like if one thing isn't working, you can switch to another thing. That question wasn't for advice, but I guess I ended up at advice.
It's okay. Yeah. So like basically just have a lot going on. Yeah. Yeah. Do you consider like, so you're a filmmaker,
yes,
which is inherently very collaborative. And I wonder, like, how do you like to collaborate? Like, do you like to brainstorm with other people? Like, what are the challenges in that, and what are the perks?
Yeah, I mean, like, I mostly do, like, comedy. So, yeah, like, I think there's a lot to glean from just, like, riffing with someone. And then you can kind of boil that down on your own. Like you get a lot of ideas, and you're like, okay, well, I mean, some of these are good ideas, but like they're just not what we're looking for. And then you can kind of chomp that down. I at some point I was thinking within the past like month, while I was like on like a film set for like a project I was doing, I was like, I had the idea that like I don't think a film it's ever too late to make a film a comedy. I think in pre-production at any point you can decide to make it funny, of course. But then like when you're on set, I think you can always you can always just like shoot something else and make it funny. You can always have the actors like improvise a bit, and it becomes funny. You could play the entire thing serious and make the last scene like a silly subversion of that, and it's all of a sudden a comedy. And in editing, you could have a very serious film and just edit it a little different, play less serious music, and it's a comedy all of a sudden. And I think, like it's never too late to change genre, I guess. But specifically comedy, like I think it's very easy to do that at any point. What is the question?
I'm gonna ask you a different question.
Yeah.
Well, because like what I hear from a lot of people is that comedy and horror, one of the two hardest genres to actually fulfill. Like, do you not feel that way? Do you feel like?
I think that's said by people who aren't very funny. I mean, like, it is hard to be funny I guess, and it's hard to like always be like consistently funny or like consistently funny to like the same sensibility necessarily, because like I don't know, you're I don't know, like if two jokes might be funnier with like different types of people, and like if you like play them next to each other, then I guess maybe you please everyone, but it might also just seem kind of weird.
Yeah.
So like yeah, it's not like it's easy, I guess, but like I think if you just like have your heart in the right place, I think I cannot speak to horror. I don't like dislike horror, but I do resent horror for being like the only kind of original movies in theaters, it feels like. And also it feels like it's the only kind of movie like normies, for lack of a better term, like if I'm talking to people who like aren't into film, they're like, oh yeah, I like, what genre of movies do you like? And I'm like, oh yeah, I really like horror movies. And I'm like, okay. Like, I mean, that's valid, but like, I can't, the conversation is over. But I mean, yeah, like, I don't know, horror is, the idea is, I guess, in both of those, they're kind of eliciting like a very, primal reaction, like fear or laughter. And those are like intricately linked kind of like in the psyche. But like, I don't know, I think those, I don't know, they're like so kind of core, like I think you can hit them in such a variety of ways and...
Yeah.
And,
I feel like, pivoting to a different question. Do you think your education experience has helped or hindered your creative progression?
I want to say yes. And I say that because, like, I think maybe it would have happened anyway, but, like, I think, like, it, like, clicked that I really wanted to do film, from, like, my high school film class, and, like, the teacher I had, and, like, frankly, I think the class kind of sucked, because, or at least, it was, like, specifically in junior year, we had, like, a few opportunities to do, like, projects where we, like, go out and film something, and I think all of those were really fun, and then we, like, kind of didn't really have those, sophomore or senior year, so I think the class kind of sucked in that way, but I think that the limited like inklings of some like cool like experience, like just making a film, like it showed me that like this was achievable and that it was fun, and then I don't know how much like this counts as like your educational experience, but like I ended up at my school running the news program.
Yeah.
Because my friend wanted to be in more clubs for like college applications, and he was like, "There's no news club," and I was like, "Okay, sure, let's do that." And then like I got really into it, the production of the news, and he was just like kind of also there.
Yeah.
and
Wow, your friends are.
And
shout out Jimmy's friends.
No, you know what? Shout out my friends. They're all great. Even if they lack enthusiasm sometimes. What was I saying? So I think I got plenty of like positive opportunities from school.
Yeah. I have to say this is fascinating to me.
Am I the only one who said?
No, well, I haven't done that to me.
I guess.
Because I go to a
school of the arts,
arts high school. Like, so how do you, like, do you feel like how do you do that where you just make it fun? You know, do you think that's because you're just, like, sincerely into film, but,
making a film fun? Like, I enjoy it, I guess.
Like, I know. The main reason that you got, like, something out of that was just because of you and your passion? Like, you know?
I think I had, like, I think I unearthed maybe the passion from the class. But I mean, it did, I think, come from me. Plenty of other people took the same class and, like, sat in the corner and played games on the computers all day. So... I think a lot of people took it because it was like perceived as like the easy option if you were taking like the academy classes. So like I guess it does come from you, but yeah.
Cool. Jamie, I know you talked a little bit about this before, but if you could give any advice about creativity, what would it be?
I guess I would say just make things and just like it's like don't worry about like polishing it perfectly everything you make, because then you will make fewer things and then you will like learn the steps to make the things slower. So like and you won't get like it out of your head. So like I don't know, just like make lots of things, and then you'll have a history to look back on, and you'll be like, wow, I really did make a whole bunch of neat things, even if they're not all perfect. And then eventually you'll get to things that are really excellent, and it'll feel
just
great.
Just keep going.
Yeah,
wait, actually do.
And like even make things like even if you don't have the perfect circumstances, even if you don't have people who you can like rely on to collaborate with at the moment, maybe you'll have it in the future. At this moment, just make something that you can do on your own, and then later you'll be like, hey, here's the kind of things I make. Here's I like feel more confident in the process yourself. So I don't know.
Yeah. One more thing.
Yes.
Are you working on any creative projects right now?
I am working on several. I have a YouTube channel.
Shout out.
Shout out my YouTube channel.
What's it called?
It's called Weeder Pete. Can I write it briefly on the board?
You can vandalize my board.
Do we have a marker?
It's spelled W-E.
So imagine.
I'll put it on the screen, okay?
It's
not that complicated.
You can put it on the screen. Imagine the word.
I'll put it right here in shining colors over your face.
Imagine the word Peter and then the word Pete, and then replace the first P with a W. So it's Weeder Pete as opposed to Peter Pete. And
I didn't think it was Wetter Pete.
It is definite. It's not Wetter Pete because that would have had two T's at the beginning. That's
how spelling works.
It's Weeder. It's
okay.
Weeder
Yeah.
Pete.
I think I got it, especially because I put it on the screen.
All one word. My name is not Pete, but people on the internet call me Pete. Because they don't know my name and they just assume my name is Pete. Yeah,
I thought your name was Pete.
My name is Jamie. Pete isn't even my last name. It's not my middle name. It's not anywhere in my name. It's not related to my name. I just chose it on the whim, and I kind of like it because it gives me anonymity.
I thought your name was Pete.
But I guess if you're linking this from an interview that says my name, then I guess that kind of undermines.
No, I mean I was saying your name and I still thought it was Pete. So
anyway,
what are you working on?
Anyway,
please.
So I'm working on plenty of things. I guess this is the summer. They might have come out by the time this releases.
Into theaters July 2nd.
But I've been.
Oh, that's
yesterday.
Next year.
I'm currently working on I guess I'll tease my next two projects, which are one of them is going to be a music video for the song Charlie Chaplin Ate My Son by artist Billy Cobb, and so that's something working.
Could you give us a rendition
of the song?
Yeah.
I'd really rather not.
Are you sure?
I'm good.
I thought you were a funny guy.
Oh, okay, fucking.
No, you don't. You don't have to say the song.
I was performing on the street with an open case of money when a fella stumbled over, started looking at me funny. He tipped his hat and then he asked if I could learn a song. Told him sure, but walk me through it so that I don't get it wrong. That's a little teaser, and I'll stop there.
That was great. Thanks, Pete, for that. Sorry.
I mean, the next one I was gonna do is like an Anthony Fantano style video of him reviewing like someone's life.
That's really funny. I like that one.
Thank you. So that's a little sneak peek if it hasn't come out by the time that this
I'm already
releases.
sold.
But she knows. So that's crazy. So like
crazy.
And then maybe I'll make more things.
Hi. Welcome to Creativity with HIldy.
Thank you.
I'm HIldy. Who are you?
I'm Sasha Freeman.
Wow, Sasha Freeman. Thanks for coming to the documentary podcast thing. What creative mediums do you practice?
I sing and I write mostly, but I'm open to many other things. I've tried them and I hope I get to work on them more, such as media, short films, things like that.
Nice.
Thank you.
Do you have any creative projects that you're working on right now with any of the mediums aforementioned?
I'm currently working on a cover of I Fall in Love Too Easily by Chet Baker. I'm singing it.
Nice.
Thank you.
How do you feel like, so you're like kind of like an interdisciplinary person. You do singing, you do writing, you're interested in doing filmmaking maybe. How do you think like your creative process differs in the various like different mediums that you do?
I think that depending on how much experience I have, I feel more confident. I think that makes a lot of sense, but it's not quite as simple as that. Like when I'm singing, it comes very naturally to me, and I tend to have an easier time doing it. Not just like the actual singing part, but the project with the logistics of it come more naturally to me. Whereas for writing, although I do feel like that also comes naturally to me, it's more of a like a mental game where I'm really trying to push myself to do it because I'm just not used to writing recreationally. Yeah.
Have you ever experienced like a creative block with your writing?
Definitely have. I would say I'm a big procrastinator, and there was a long time when I was writing a short story where I felt that I didn't know what was going to come next. I didn't know what kinds of things I felt comfortable including, knowing that parts of it were based off of my own life. And realizing where the boundary was took a lot of time for me.
How did you get through that?
Well, frankly, I thought a lot about it, and I realized what meant the most to me, what the story really deserved, you know, as its own piece, taking it away from myself.
Yeah.
And I determined that the more personal it was, the more universal it felt.
Do you write from life a lot?
I do. I think I like to write a lot of fiction, but I like to incorporate aspects of my own life and experiences into my writing.
What do you think like your biggest inspiration is when you're writing?
Wow. Well, I like to read a lot. So,
shout out for reading.
And whenever I'm reading, I'm often thinking like, this is how I would do this is how I wouldn't do it, and then I sort of take those thoughts and apply that to writing that I'm actually doing with my own story and my own ideas.
Nice. Any specific books that
I like?
Yeah.
I think my favorite book, maybe of all time, is Little Women.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah.
Nice.
But some honorable mentions are Cloud Cuckoo Land, which is just an incredible book, Ender's Game, and The Legendborn Cycle.
Whoa. You mentioned, like, when writing, not knowing, like, kind of struggling with, like, writing from life, but also trying to make, like, the best story possible. Would you say, question is, what is your biggest creative struggle? And does that relate at all?
Yeah, I think my biggest creative struggle is feeling limited by what is really there, what's really in front of me. I think that the things that are in my brain exceed what I'm capable of, or sometimes what is literally possible. Which that's obviously the latter isn't really about my writing specifically, but yeah, it's that thing where I feel like I have ideas of what something should be, and when it comes to really writing it, I'm not only struggling to put it into words, I'm struggling to determine, sometimes other people's feelings is another thing. Like, if I'm writing a character that's based on someone's life, I don't want to offend them. And so it's just, reality feels like a limit to me.
Yeah. How about when you're singing? Have you ever, I don't know if this is, like, possible, but have you experienced, like, any creative struggles while singing?
Actually, yes. Well, it's another limit of reality, which is that, your voice has a vocal range, and there are songs that I really like where I can't sing high enough or low enough to do them justice, I think. And as I'm learning right now, producing or your own cover
Yeah.
is a lot more difficult than it might seem. But I think my creative struggle tends to come from like, where am I incorporating my own self into this cover, into this song that I'm doing, and where am I merely just trying to make myself unique? I think that is something I think about a lot.
What do you think the difference is between those two things? Like finding yourself and just like trying to be different from other people.
I think that's something I'm still really trying to figure out. And maybe will be for a really long time, because I think this applies well outside of art.
Yeah.
But in the case of singing, I've learned that doing what feels natural and accepting that sometimes what feels natural only exists because I've witnessed things similar to it.
Yeah.
Therefore saying like basically I'm saying that my thoughts are influenced by other people, and for a long time that gave me imposter syndrome because I felt like things weren't my own ideas. But I've come to realize that that's just how art works and how life works, and it's not really a limit of mine, and it's just an aspect of art.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Do you think your education experience has helped or hindered your creative process?
I think that it has helped a lot. I joined choir in middle school on a whim. I had to pick an elective, and I just decided that I joined choir. In that class that I stayed in for all 3 years of middle school, I really fell in love with singing and with choir and with expressing myself through song.
Yeah.
In a way that I just didn't even know was possible. And if I hadn't joined that class, I'm almost certain I would not be a singer in any form right now.
Nice. How do you like to come up with ideas? Do you like to do this or brainstorm? Are you like a collaborative person? Do you like to do it with others, or are you more like solitary?
I think I like seeking guidance and getting ideas from other people. I think that does take up a lot of my creative time, if that makes sense. I do spend a lot of my time doing that when I'm focusing on a project, but I also think that some of my best ideas come just from me, and that in a way seeking others' guidance is sort of a way that I almost procrastinate accepting that I have to come up with things on my own, even when it's daunting, which isn't to say that it's not helpful. It's really, really helpful, and it's really helped me be proud of a lot of my work, other people's guidance, but I think that, I look to both, but why I look to both, I sometimes have to wonder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. If you could give any advice about creativity, what would it be?
My advice would be to not question your ability and understand that we're more limited by reality than by our ability.
Yeah. Hi! Welcome to Creativity with HIldy.
Hi.
Who are you?
I'm Simone.
Oh my god! I'm HIldy! It's
Sorry.
lovely to be here. Yeah, it's lovely to be here with you too. Sorry. What creative mediums do you practice, Simone?
I do a little bit of everything. The first creative medium that I was probably introduced to officially would be collage, because in preschool my art teacher did a collage, and I'm coming back to that now with my current projects. But I really like to write, and I really like to...
Wait, hold on. Sorry.
I really like to write. I really like to do a lot of free designs in terms of doodling. I make jewelry. I do pretty much everything you can think of.
Cool.
Say more about your collage that you're working on right now.
Well, it is a Little Red Riding Hood inspired tarot deck. So the journey of the Fool, which is what we in the Major Arcana, which is basically the part of the tarot deck that makes it unique from other decks of cards, that follows the Fool's journey, which is a storyline, and I have infused it with the Little Red Riding Hood story to have it follow her storyline.
How's it going? How did you come up with the idea for this project? And what is your process like right now in the project?
How it's going is I'm struggling a little bit with it, to be honest. I find it's a little bit more complex than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
Given its collage. But how I came up with the idea is I've always really liked the Little Red Riding Hood story, and especially as I'm growing up, I feel it relating to it more. And how I came up with the idea is I was just watching this adaptation of the Little Red Riding Hood story, which I find really interesting, and I was like, man, I wish there was a tarot deck for this, because there's so many cool meanings imbued to each part of the story, and so I was like, why not make my own?
Yeah, that's beautiful. Yes. Simone, what would you say your biggest creative struggle is, and how has that evolved over time?
Well, when I was younger, my biggest creative struggle would just be follow through and getting things done and not abandoning projects.
Yeah.
But as I've gotten older and built more resilience and discovered that I can leave and come back to things, I would say my biggest struggle now is inspiration. Finding inspiration and figuring out when I'm in that creative mood, what do I want to do with it?
Yeah. Have you ever experienced like a creative block?
Many times.
Say more.
I figure the thing people would be most familiar with is writer's block with me. I've experienced a lot of writer's block, and the way I usually deal with it is honestly not by dealing with it. If I'm engaging in a poem that really needs to get done, I will force myself through, and that usually doesn't end well. It usually ends in burnout. But if I don't deal with it and don't think about it and just take a break and come back later, things have a way of falling into place. And it can be really frustrating. It can be really frustrating to want to work on something really badly but have to force yourself to take a break. But that's the thing that does work out best, I find.
Yeah. What do you do during those breaks?
I engage with my other creative projects. If I'm writing, I will try to do something a little more physical as to oppose to the abstract. If I'm doing something a little more physical, I will move on to something where the physical applies differently. Like if I'm collaging, I will move on to wire and jewelry and crafting, or I will move on to writing and trying to get my thoughts on the page so I can actually figure out what to do with the collaging.
What do you think it means to be creative?
I think it means taking the things that are in your head and expressing them in your own unique way. I think to pin down what to be creative is really hard, but at the core of it, it's expression, expressing yourself, and doing it in a way that maybe a few people have done before, but feels really true to yourself nonetheless.
Nice. If you could give any advice about creativity, what would it be?
Don't rush it. Let it come to you.
Nice.
Yeah.
Anything else you would like to add?
Just have fun with things. It doesn't need to be serious. Even if it ends up being serious, you can still have fun along the way.
That's true. Are you having fun?
I am. Oh, I like your hands.
Okay. Hi.
Hi.
Welcome to Creativity with HIldy.
Mm-hmm.
Who are you?
I'm Soleil.
Soleil. Thank you for coming. Do you consider yourself a creative person?
I think so. I think like in like interviews and stuff, someone asks me like my 3 words to describe me. Creativity is like one of the words.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess, and like I've been doing art my whole life. So yeah.
What artistic mediums do you practice?
Pretty much everything. Like I've done things like I've done pottery, I've done like layered paper painting, digital painting, like a little bit of photography, not much. So like I'm open to everything and anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Are you working on any projects right now?
Yes. So right now I'm working on a really large painting of like 3 sand castles. And it's like about how like time passes on and nothing like really matters.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. How do you think your creative journey has like changed from like when you first started painting to now?
I feel like obviously I don't really remember when I first started painting because it was like when I was really little, but I feel like when I was younger I was kind of more like concerned with what other people's art looked like and like trying to make mine not more similar to theirs but like better, to be like at the same level. Like I always felt like my art wasn't as good as everyone else's, and I feel like now I've evolved more and I'm like, okay, I'm actually like not terrible at painting.
Yeah.
And I feel more like secure, I guess, in my artistic abilities.
What do you think your biggest like creative struggle is?
My biggest creative struggle, I would say like getting the idea out from inside my head. Like I have like an idea and then I can kind of put it together of what I want it to look like and it never ends up looking exactly like that, or I don't think of it fully and then I start and I don't know how to do something. Like I've never taken like a formal like art class, so I feel like I've not been like technically trained as much as a lot of other artists, and so like composition and like planning and stuff like that is kind of difficult for me.
Yeah. Do you think like have you like how do you think like you've improved? Is it just like doing it over and over? Have you used like other resources?
Yeah, I've tried, like I talked to people. I think this year I took AP art, and being in that class and talking to all the other artists in there that like some have been to art class their whole life, some have never gone, talking to everyone about their different processes and like how they think about things, I think that helped me a lot.
Nice. Who or what inspires you creatively?
Honestly, I really like looking at like different art styles, and then I'll find like a style that I really like and what that makes me think of. Also like different feelings I have that I feel like I can relate to other people. Like this feeling that I use often is overthinking everything that like teenagers I feel like overthink a lot of things that they do and say. So I've like worked a lot of that into my art. And then just painting, like for AP art, I feel like I did a lot of things where like I know I can draw that pretty well, and I think that's okay that I keep drawing that if I know that I'm good at it. Like I think it's okay that I can do things I'm good at, so I guess that'll take me on like different creative journeys as well. Yeah.
So you mentioned that you work in different mediums. How do you think like your creative process differs between the different mediums?
Yeah, it's interesting. So usually like I'll think of different, or I'll find different mediums through like art class at school, and like the teacher will give us like a project or something, and I'll have to like do a lot of research on like how it works, and then I guess just like researching online of like what other people have done kind of helps me, and then I'll like try my own spin on it, maybe do like some practice. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that's fair. Have you ever experienced like a creative block?
For sure.
Yeah.
I feel like all of like freshman year for me was a creative block because that was the year I didn't take an art class at school and I wasn't taking an art class outside of school. So I feel like there was no one around me to kind of like motivate me to create art, and I feel like I find that was the year that I made the least amount of art.
How did you like push through it?
Looking online, like Pinterest is awesome.
Yeah.
Or like TikTok, and like seeing other artists make stuff made me want to do it more. But then like thinking of like ideas of something original to make was a little more difficult for me. But I think it didn't really stop until I got into like sophomore year and I was in like an art class and I actually had like prompts and like people around me talking through it with me.
Did someone just knock on the door? Hello? Was there a knock on the door? Wait, did you hear that?
I think it might have been the other.
Okay, yeah.
The one across the hall.
Okay. Do you think, so like, which environment, you mentioned that you feel like that art class kind of like helps you foster your creativity. Like what was it about that environment, and which environments do you normally like to work in that you feel like you are like the most creative?
I feel like I get a lot done, like, if I really want to finish a painting, I get the most done probably when I'm alone, but, like, if I want it to be really, like, quality painting, I feel like being around other people that are also painting kind of helps, and, like, asking them questions, so I guess it's a bit of both, like, being around other artists and also, like, having my own alone time to be with, like, my painting alone or whatever I'm working on, so it's a mix of that. But I feel like art class is a really good environment to be creating in because there's so much other like creative stuff happening around you.
Yeah. Do you think like your education experience, you did you said like the class, so that's a positive, but do you think overall like your education experience has helped or hindered your creative progress?
Like my education experience in like school?
Yeah, school.
I know a lot of artists think that like school like ruins artists, and I think that is true to an extent. Like I said, like freshman year, it was tough to have time to make art and like have motivation to make art when I wasn't in an art class, but I think if you have like a set time where you have to, like in an art class at school, I don't think it really hinders it that much. And I think like being in school and being in other classes is important because it might even make you more creative. It might like foster other interests into being creative in other ways.
Nice. Do you think that's true? Like have you, not that you, but have you, like how have you been creative in other ways?
I feel like the best example I could give for this would be in physics.
Oh.
I took a physics class sophomore year and I really liked it, and I feel like it made me think about how you could incorporate different like subjects into art. Like you could do something on like stars or space or something like that, and like incorporate physics into your art. And I feel like that's a way that like being in another class, like I would have never thought about that if I hadn't taken that class. And then I'm excited to take AP Environmental Science this upcoming year and learning more about like plants and animals and stuff like that, for more art stuff. So I feel like being in another class is helpful.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Do you if you could give any advice about being creative, what would it be?
I would say, first of all, I don't think it's bad if you find something that you're good at and you like doing and you just keep going with it. Obviously, it's important to think outside the box sometimes and challenge yourself, but I think if you find something that you love, then you should just like keep going with that. And I think you'll find that it's not so like putting yourself in a box, and it's more of just like doing what you love and like what you're passionate about, and that will make you more creative and more like motivated to make more things.
Yeah. I struck a chord. I was like, yes. Okay. What I like to do is I like to have people write like a piece of advice, like either what you just said or
Okay.
on the board. Do you want to do that?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, do a marker.
No, I do. Okay. I'm just gonna see how it. Okay, and when you're talking to me, make sure to kind of like talk towards the camera a little bit also, because so you can see your face. Can you move up a little bit? Okay. Wait. Adjust it. Nope. Can you move over? Sorry. Can you move over a little bit? Yeah. Oh, why does it like that? Okay. You move. Because it's like I want us to both be an equal amount. Can you move back a little bit? Okay, that's good.
Good.
All right, cool. I'm gonna come up and then. Oh, do you want to do like a practice interview first, or do you think you would be comfortable just doing it?
Whatever you want is fine.
Okay. Hi.
Hi.
Welcome to Creativity with HIldy.
Thank you for having me.
Who are you?
My name is Corbin Zimmer. I'm a visual artist.
Cool. Any mediums? Any other mediums that you do? What mediums do you do?
What mediums? I do a lot of paint. I use a lot of ink. I've done a little bit of sculpture, but I usually work in 2D mediums.
Cool. What is your creative process like? Like, how do you come up with ideas, and when you're working on them, how do you follow through with them?
I struggle from boredom in my creative, because like I will have an idea and I'll go through with it for like a good half the time it will take to complete the project, and then I'll be over it and want to go on to the next thing. But how does my creativity process actually work? I think I take a lot of outside stimulus, right? I think I usually put together like different things that I'm currently thinking about, or like things I see on the internet, in the world around me, that kind of thing, right?
Like what?
Like I'm working on a project where basically I'm taking inspiration from a horror artist that I've seen online and a doll maker.
Who are they? Show them out.
You know, I don't know their names.
That's okay.
But yeah.
I trust that they
Yes,
exist.
they're and
sorry. I have to do something. Continue.
But yeah, and I feel like they've both kind of affected my style before this point, right? But at this point, I'm actively thinking about their art styles and even taking that further into my own project, right? Working with clay and sort of other, like, unorthodox, I don't want to say, like, strange materials, because I feel like a lot of things can be used for
What materials?
art. A lot of things, right? I'm using styrofoam mannequin heads.
Okay. And not
I'm
real
using-
heads, right?
Allegedly no.
Okay.
I'm using, like, false lashes, rhinestones, that kind of thing.
Okay. Yep. Cool.
So, do you consider yourself a creative person? And what does creativity mean to you?
Oh, well, do I consider myself a creative person? I like to think so to an extent, right? I think creativity is an important part of a lot of things, but I also think that if the creativity gets in the way of getting something done, then you should go with whatever will actually get a project finished, going back to my quick timeline of investment. And what does it mean to me? I think it's important. I mean, being an artist, it's very much a personal thing.
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
I feel like there's a line between creativity and being, like, thinking of something new and finding a new use for something that exists.
Mm.
And I don't know what the distinction is in verbiage, but I think that they kind of fall under a similar umbrella.
What would the visual distinction be? Like if you were to draw it?
Well, I mean, like, a lot of artists use different references. They, take a reference of, like, a person and a background and then put them together. Or they would... I've taken that to an extreme before where I take, like, references of, like, different sort of animal skeletal structures and then automobiles and put them together.
That's cool.
Which is a sort of commentary on the thing, but it's not really the question you asked.
You can also draw on the board.
I
you would like.
could, in fact. Repeat the question one more time?
Just like, well, I was gonna ask you like visually, which is kind of a weird question because then I'm asking you to answer it in words, but like just what does creativity like feel like to you, I guess. And again, you can also draw on the board.
I feel like I'm being prompted.
No, you could not draw it on the board also, and we'll just move on to a different question. Whatever you want to do.
I feel it feels a lot like it's a train of logic, right?
Yeah.
If this means something to me and this means something else, then what is the parallel between those two things? Right?
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
But conversely, to think of something new is more difficult in a way, right? Picasso said that great artists steal.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really interesting approach to a medium that is supposed to be like your own.
Mm. Yeah. What is your biggest creative struggle?
As I said before, I will get...
boredom.
Yeah, I will get an idea and then I'll lose the impetus halfway through.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, it's a lot of space, right? Like, I can't exactly paint in my house. My mom would kill me.
Really? Like, you can't, like, even on, like, a canvas?
Well, I could, but there's not really a space.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And then if we didn't have a space, I had to put everything up and then take everything back down, and then wouldn't know where to put the half-finished project. Which is why I work in a lot of sort of drier mediums, right? Ink is a little more contained, pencil and like pen.
Which one do you feel like you mainly work in?
Oh, I usually work in pen.
Okay.
It's just what I can do in any number of spaces.
Yeah. When did you start, like, kind of exploring that, or, like, exploring visual arts?
Wait, when did I start exploring visual arts?
Yeah.
A long time ago. I've been invested in art for a very long time. I have been drawing, I've had art supplies for easily over a decade and coming up on 2.
But, like, okay. Yes.
Was that...
But what inspired...
What inspired...
You? As, like, a kid? Or...
I don't know. I think it's also a case of I like what I'm good at.
Mm. Yeah.
And if I can see that I'm better than the general, like, other people at something, I will enjoy doing that thing.
Do you think if it was, like, you were better at math than you were at drawing, then you would have been, like, more into math?
Well, I'm not a psychopath. So, you know, no disrespect to people who like me. Actually, you know, a little bit of disrespect, but, you know, they can take it.
Are you calling them psychopaths if you like math?
Just a little bit, right? But
I kind of agree with you on that one.
Yeah, but, like, in a good way, right?
Yeah.
No. But in all seriousness, it is one of the few things that I don't attribute to school, right?
Oh, yeah.
The reason I don't read as much as I used to is because I've had assigned reading, right?
Me too.
The reason I don't like math is because I've had, like, worksheets are a scam.
I agree.
I still count on my fingers.
Me too!
But that's beside the point.
Mm-hmm.
But art, like, and I went to, like, a sort of general public school. Art class was a little more generalized. But I've always, you know, kind of been able to differentiate art from, like, school.
Yeah.
Which I haven't been able to for others.
This leads me to my next question. Do you think your education experience has helped or hindered your creative progress?
That's an interesting question because I think it is both. See, in the, like, first couple months of going to Soda, I feel like because I go to an art school with so many other artists, I've gotten better, either because I can collaborate or because there's almost more pressure to succeed when you're called the best 20 in the district.
Right.
But on top of that, in contrast to that, I think that my experience of having art assigned, right, made into schoolwork has made me question before where I want art in my future.
Yeah, I agree.
Right? I quit an art class in freshman year because I thought I didn't like that.
Like at Soda?
No, I had the school art class, And then on top of that, I also had like a Tuesday art class for like an hour and a half or whatever. And I quit that. And in hindsight, I just didn't like the freshman year art class.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean, it was important and I recognize its significance. But it's not about the enjoyment of the craft. It's about learning.
The art class was?
School.
Oh, school is, yeah.
School art class, right? Or the more professional art classes that I'm taking at SOTA.
Yeah.
But since then, in sophomore year, we moved into like paints and stuff, and that was a little more freedom. I mean, I like the teacher a lot better. He's actually going to be teaching again this year because of some changes in management in my department. But then this last year, I've had sort of the most freedom that I've sort of had in my tenure at SOTA. And I've really liked it, right? I found that I could finish pieces not only that I was more happy with because I had more of that, like, self-drive, right? But also I found I could finish more pieces that I was happy with because there was less of a hand on what I was doing, right? I mean, the first couple ones were like still life, you know, black and white still life, color still life, self-portrait, but there was also a level of, on top of that, you could have a little bit of freedom with the items you used, with the style in which you painted it. And then after that, they were more sort of vague topics, if that makes sense. Right? They'd be like a landscape, and you can do indoor landscape, outdoor landscape. I did an indoor landscape, which is sort of like a more geometric thing. Or then the next assignment was like a portrait of someone, and that can be so many different things. It can be self-portrait, portrait of someone else. You can also mess with like what you do with it, style and stuff, which I feel like is very much different from what I was doing in freshman and sophomore year, when there was a very strict sort of expectation of classical art.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then now I'm going into senior year, and I'm not sure where it will land with the whole, like, freedom to do what I want. But I'm not sure.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. Have you ever experienced a creative block?
All the time. Yeah, because on top of having a short-lived investment of art, there are also, I don't want to say few and far between, but there are very much times where I've got nothing, right? I just need to wait until I can make myself put something together that I enjoy.
Is that how you deal with it? Do you just like wait it out?
Yeah, I can wait, or I come up with ideas in the past that I like, and then I'll try those when I can't think of anything new.
Yeah.
Yeah, but most often it's just a waiting game.
Okay. If you could give any advice about being creative, what would it be?
I mean, sort of going back to my experience in school and stuff and my creative process, it's not like a race. It shouldn't really be meant to impress anybody, right? I think a big folly with art school is that it's graded. And if it wasn't graded, it wouldn't be school. I get that. But doing something for the grade, being creativity for a grade instead of just for the love of the game, right? That's why I think the word amateur is underused and misused in society, right?
Wait, how is it misused?
Amateur just means for the enjoyment of it, basically, right? It's not professional for money. It's just for enjoyment.
Yeah.
And I think the word is misused, and I think it has a poor connotation.
Yeah, it does.
Like a bad connotation, and I don't think it should.
Yeah.
But really, I mean, as long as it's not as long as your creativity is not being, like, graded, right? As long as it's not school, it shouldn't be pressured to live up to professionals.
Yeah.
Right? So I would say that leads to a whole other level of, like, social media is a great tool for creativity, but it also leads to, like, comparison, right?
Yeah.
But if you can distance yourself from the people who have been doing this for decades, right?
Mm.
And realize they've probably been in a similar situation, you can derive a lot more enjoyment from it.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah. So distance yourself from people you feel like you're comparing yourself too much to.
Yeah. Distance yourself from not only, like, professional artists, but also in scenarios in which you can try to distance yourself from, like, an educational, sort of like fine arts, classical education style of art, right?
Yeah.
Like, I've enjoyed art a lot more in this last year since I've started, like, doodling in the margins of my notebooks.
Yeah.
And those drawings, like, they're for me.
Yeah.
Right? They don't have to be good. I don't care.
Yeah.
So yeah, care less.
Mm. Yeah. Thank you.
Of course.
Anything else you want to add?
No, I think we've just about covered everything.
Would you like to write your advice on the board?
Sure.
Great. Get a shot of you doing. Hi.
Hi.
Welcome to Creativity with HIldy.
Thank you for having me.
I'm HIldy.
Nice to
Who
meet
are
you.
you?
I am Jacob Thompson. I am a graphic designer and an adult.
Yeah. What creative mediums do you practice? Besides what you already mentioned.
Well, graphic design it has a lot more than what you hear, because graphic design is more of a medium than an art.
Yeah.
So I do a lot of logo design. I work mostly in, like, the corporate graphic design vibe. I don't consider myself a very, like, I'm not an artist in my graphic design. I'm more of a professional. So I do logos. I do flyers, posters.
What do you think the difference is between an artist and a professional?
It's a great question. Because it's very subjective. To me, an artist is someone who does their work for themselves. You know? It's their creative vision. They start to finish. It is just pure expression. And you can do that in a professional setting, you know?
Yeah.
For me, it's just most of my work it's a task. You know, it's something that someone needs done, and I have a skill set that I can use to provide them something. You know, if my friend needs a thumbnail for their video, I got that. Okay? Done. Easy peasy.
Yeah.
But I don't consider that art. I consider that a thumbnail. Some people consider it art, and I'm not going to diss them. I think it can be art. It's just for myself. I've done a lot of art in the past, and it's just I kind of have to draw a line there.
Yeah. But so when you're doing this like logo design that's more like, I guess, on the like business side, would you say? Kind of less art focused. Do you still find that as like a creative medium?
Yes, definitely. It is pure creativity, because that's what the job is it's taking someone's idea or someone's concept of an idea and bringing it to fruition using your own creativity. Everything I make, you can tell that I made it because it has my own personal design elements, it has my own characteristics, my own rules that I follow. It is very much my creation, and that comes from the creativity that I put into it.
Yeah. Do you think AI will be able to do your job in 5 years, 10 years?
I mean, I hope not.
Yeah.
But I think, well, I don't think it will. I don't think it, because here's the dilemma, is at the current state, the difference between AI and a real person when it comes to what I do is feedback.
Yeah.
It is a lot easier to explain what you want to a real person, and then they can take their experience and fill in the gaps. With AI, it is entirely reliant on you and what you want. And so if a friend asks me, hey, can you make me a logo, for example, for my car club? We kind of wanted to have an edgy look with sort of somewhat of a cool font. And then I can take that and I can go in and I can make a bunch of versions using my own research, my own inspirations, my own ideas. And then I can give them that product and they can go, oh, that's cool. I like this one more than this one. Can we change that? Versus with AI, they would have to tell it all of that information on the get-go. And if they're not like fluent in those design terms or what they actually want, they're going to get a lot of garbage.
It's more them as the creator, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah, and if AI gets to the point where it can do that, I mean, it already kind of is. It's very good at getting inspiration and, stealing. But, but I think there's always a human element to it of what makes it special. I've seen a lot of AI logos. There's an Instagram account I follow that does my version versus AI's version. And there's always something about the AI version that feels flat and lifeless. And I think it's because a lot of design and this is something I struggle with, the beauty of design comes from imperfection. It comes from those off-center angles or those points that are just a little bit out of the way that maybe you could tuck it in. Because I work very strictly, I was taught by I call him my mentor. I don't think he thinks of me as a mentee, but he used to work at the Wave. He was Michael Falsetto Matt. He was like one of the instructors, and we worked a lot very closely when we were making the Sunset Microwave magazines, because that was what we started doing over COVID, and I offered to help, and I had not done that before, and I was working a lot in Adobe Illustrator. That's where I got most of my experience, and he was very adamant about symmetry and margins. And what I mean by that is I would send him a draft of a page and I would get back, move it 3 pixels to the right. And I was like, are you kidding me? What? All right. And then I would do it, and then it would, after a while, it would click like, oh, it does look better 3 pixels to the right. And so then I started using guides and grids to make sure everything was even, everything was in its own section. And I've gotten very good at that. I've gotten very good at laying out a grid, laying out the rules of my design, and then filling in the pieces. And I feel like it sometimes stifles me in what I can do because I'm so fixed in the bars that I establish. And it's a hard habit to break out of, because I know a lot of good design, there's like the great example is the Google logo. There was a huge online debate about the Google G because it's not a perfect circle. If you draw a perfect circle, it's not a perfect circle. And it had these 4 color grids that look like it's an X in each section's color, but it's not an X. It's like an off-center X, and the line that goes into the G is like everything is slightly misaligned, and it drives people crazy. But only when you draw that perfect circle around it, or you draw those lines. Otherwise, it just looks good. And I think that imperfection gives it a more personal feel that can help you connect to it and relate to it.
And AI doesn't really do that. It doesn't do the imperfection.
I don't think it can do imperfection. And if it does do imperfection, they're imperfections. They're not the good kind.
Yeah. Cool. What is your biggest creative struggle?
It's a great question.
Glad you think so.
It's a great question because there's so many. Because it takes practice, and I've been doing this for 8 years, and I'm nowhere near an expert. Okay, I didn't go to school for this. I have work experience in it, but that work experience, like it wasn't at a graphic design firm where there's other graphic designers that can help me out. It's been mostly kind of on my own, trying to figure out how things work. And I think because of that, my biggest creative hurdle is my own experience. Is because I've kind of taught myself everything, I've kind of put everything in these caveats of like these sections of what I can do, the types of things I can do, and it's very hard for me to break out of those boxes and try new things. Because when I start trying new things, it'll work, you know, like I'll get something new, or I'll try to like snowball an idea. Because I'll usually, like if I'm making something, I'll focus on one aspect, like a title card or a logo, and then build everything around it. But a lot of my work looks very similar to each other, or it follows the same conventions, or I find myself like just being burnt out of, and I'll like go back to an old design, I'll just copy all the settings from it, and it doesn't feel like I'm growing. And I think that kind of scares me a lot, is if am I tapped out, is this all I can do? And then sometimes I'll break through that. And I'll find something new, and I'll be like, oh my god, here's a new angle I can take. But then that's just establishing another box for me to fall back to.
Ooh. How do you break through of that original box or the new box?
I don't know. I think you kind of have to I might have to like restart restart my aesthetic, or restart my viewpoint, try to tackle it from a different way, stop using my same conventions. Like all of my Illustrator files, if you turn on the guides, it's crazy. There's like 1,000 lines going everywhere. And I might at a certain point just need to stop doing that. But I'm scared that if I stop doing that, and this is where this comes back to my idea of artist versus professional, is if I try to break out and try new things and get more fluid and more creative, it could be a worse product, and that would be bad for like my work or my job or the client. They want something good, and if I can produce something good using these conventions, I don't really have an incentive to stop those conventions.
Yeah.
And that's kind of a hurdle. Is that's why I respect graphic designers that do it for themselves, they do it for art so much, is because they don't have to worry about their boxes, because there's no standard. They can just do whatever they want. And that's really cool. And when I want to try that, and I'll try doing whatever I want, and then I get stuck in this like paralysis of endless ideas. It's like if I can do anything, then I can do anything, but I can't pick something. And so I'll just pick nothing, and I'll just go back to default. Or I'll just end the project, or be like, it was fun while it lasted.
Yeah.
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 That's a good answer. I'm curious, like, how much do you work with clients when you're, like, working on developing, like, I guess, like, a logo? Or, like, how much collaboration is there between you and another person? How much is your own ideas?
So, a lot of it... So there's two types of things I do. One is specific client work, which is... I'll just use a real life example, because that's better. There was an organization on the campus of the school that I went to that was doing a Men of Color conference, which was just a big conference for men of color to get together. And they asked my job to make a logo, and I got the logo, so I had a meeting with them, and I asked them what they want, and they were like, we kind of want this vibe, or we want to feature like, this sort of thing. And so I just cooked. I was just like, all right, I'm just going to figure it out. And I made this logo. It looks like 3 people, 1 standing in the front, 2 standing behind. It has like these cool offset borders. And I was like, all right, this is sick. I turned it in and I sent it, hey, this is what I've got so far. Do you have any notes, any feedback? And they sent me back an email saying, this isn't what we want at all. And I was like,
damn.
Oh no. I was like, oh no. They sent me an image which was like a picture of it was like a circle with like a tie. And I was like, okay. Okay. So I tried to make something like that. And I was like, all right.
Okay. After this break, after we had a quick break.
Word from our sponsors.
Now we're
Thank
back.
you to
Pitch Perfect.
Pitch Perfect with Anna Kendrick. Good
Thank
movie.
you, Anna Kendrick.
Yeah. Leave it in.
I've
Leave
seen
it in.
the movie.
Shout out
I
Anna Kendrick.
promise.
Shout out the Cup song. It was huge in middle school. Or
Yeah.
How old were you in
Ooh.
2014?
I was alive.
Were you doing the Cup song?
I don't think I knew what a cup was in 2014. I was just learning.
Damn.
Yeah.
I was in 6th grade when that movie came out.
Ooh, you are an adult.
Yeah, I'm an adult, guys.
I remember
I'm an
that in the introduction. I was listening.
Pitch Perfect 2, less good movie. Pitch Perfect 3, never saw it. Anyway, yeah, so I was doing this this client project. They sent me. They were like, oh, we wanted to look more like this, and I said, oh, okay, and I sent like basically a carbon copy just with our color scheme back, and I was like, is this good? And then they were like, didn't respond. I was like, oh my god, what's going on? What is going on? So I was like, can we set up a meeting? So we had a Zoom call, like I think that next day.
Okay.
And I was like, hey, saw your email. Sorry you didn't like the previous designs. I made this one. It looks a lot more like your...
Are you saying this in the Zoom call?
Yeah, I'm saying this to her. And she's like, what? No, we loved it. I was like...
Loved it.
I was like, you loved it? You're like, yeah, we just wanted you to put it in a circle. Like with this one. I was like...
Oh, I could have said that.
I was like, all right, cool. And then I was like, I can do a square one too. They're like, perfect, do it. So that one... So that's kind of like with client work. They give you your initial idea, you send them a version, they give you feedback. You do that a couple times until it's solid out, and you give them a couple options. This is a secret. This is a secret. If you're ever working for a client and you have an idea that's really good, if you tell them, here's the idea, it's really good, they will never do that idea. Because
you just split. Okay.
Because most, we'll call them producers, because it's like a movie thing too. Most producers want to have some sort of input.
Oh.
And so if you give them 3 options, 1 with your really good idea, and 2 worse ideas,
Ooh.
4 out of 5 times, they'll pick your idea, and and they made that choice. You know, they're like, oh, I feel good about that. I picked the best one. I did that a lot. I did that here. I did that here when we were doing Sunset Microwave 2. We were working.
Can you explain a little bit? What is Sunset Microwave?
Okay, so Sunset Microwave. The year is 2020. COVID happens. Sunset Media Wave, back pre-2020 was a website. So we would come into work and we would do our project, and every couple of weeks we would post an update on the website. It was like a blog. And that only worked because we were in the office and we had all this equipment. Mm-hmm. And we had a lot of time. And so when COVID happened, we couldn't pump out stuff on the website like we could. We needed to pivot. And so we pivoted to doing a magazine. And the magazine is a lot like the zines nowadays, but it was a little bit more like the website, where you would do a project, you do your work, and then once you were done, you would submit it to me and Michael, and we would lay it out on a page. And it was very much
like a web page?
Like a physical. Well, it was a digital magazine. We used a thing called issue.com. One of the worst softwares in the entire world. No,
shout out.
No, no, I mean, it was fine, but it got the job done. But it was a digital zine, but we would lay it out like it was physical. You could like print it out and it would still work. But yeah, we'd have a color theme. We would have a cover photo, table of contents, and then it would basically be like a web page on paper. Now you guys get a lot more creative, like you do cool editing the photos, but it used to just be very much like, okay, here's a frame, put the picture in it, here was the text, put it under, put your name. It's gotten a lot better. But when we were doing Sunset Microwave 2, we were trying to figure out the color palette, and I had this color palette I wanted to use. It was like a green and orange kind of one. It was like, or maybe that was 3. It was summer. It was over the summer, and I found a color palette that I really liked, but they wanted a few options. So I found some other options that were also pretty summery, and I gave them to them. And I was like, pick which ones you think is best, and they all voted for one of the decoy ones, and that's the one we ended up using. And I think that was a big lesson of like, especially with art, is like, the thing that you think works best is not always what other people are going to think. Most people have their own ideas, their own concepts. And I will say this, that color palette that we used, it worked really well. Yeah. It turned out great. And I ended that Zoom meeting, I was baffled. I was like, I cannot believe they didn't choose mine. But now I don't even remember what mine is, and I know that magazine turned out great.
Wow. That's another thing AI can't do. They won't make fake
won't.
Colors.
They'll just give you Blurple, and you're stuck with it.
I don't know what that is, but it sounds bad. All right. My next question. I wonder, when you're designing, do you ever experience like sort of what they call like a flow state, when you're like super locked in?
Hell yes, HIldy. Hell yeah. It is my favorite state to be in. So I have the worst posture ever, okay? Nope. And it is especially prevalent. It's especially prevalent when I'm locked in, because...
okay, I guess you're not locked in.
I'll have... All right. Laptop here. You ready for this? This is what I'm like.
They can't even see you. You're so far down.
I'm a pretty tall guy. I look like I'm 4'3" standing up when I'm locked in. But it's something that
you just like shrink.
Like my spine collapses into it, but it's necessary. It's necessary. It's necessary because I need to get in. I need to get looking close, and I love the flow state. For me is the point when I have all of my preliminary ideas set. I know what colors I'm using. I know what text needs to be done. I have kind of a general theme. My guides are set. And it's now just about drawing and just getting your points over here, boom, 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 boom. And then getting this text block, okay, change that size, oh, move it over a little bit, get the photo in, crop it in. And it's so great because I have, like, at my work, none of the other people are graphic designers. They're all social media people. And so they don't know a lot about graphic design.
Where do you work?
I worked at UC Merced. It was like our admissions social media team. So like if you're applying to the school, you're going to see a lot of our stuff. And they would just sit around me at the office sometimes and just watch me cook because I think graphic design, once you know what you're doing and you know how to do it, it does not take very long. You can get like from 0 to 70% in like 10 minutes. At least for me. I can get to 0 to 70% in like 10 minutes. And then you spend a lot longer, revising and changing things. But just getting something on the board, I can do very quickly. And it's really fun to have people be like, what the how do you... Because I know like, keyboard shortcuts and I know all little things and I'm just...
Wait, okay. But how do you come up with the original idea? Does it just come to you?
So that's a trickier part. See, the flow state only comes after about 3 days of scrolling on Instagram because I can't think of anything. So the ideas usually, for me, I'm given some sort of event or thing. So like, for example, I had to make a flyer for how to apply for FAFSA, which is financial aid. It was a financial aid flyer. And they gave me all the text and they gave me all the dates and everything I need for the flyer just in a Google Doc. And I copy pasted it all in and I was looking at this and it was so much text, it already filled up the whole page. And I just did not know where to start. The only thing that I noticed is in the title of the FAFSA thing was how to get money. And I locked in on that phrase, how to get money. And I was like, that's dope. That's sick. This should be the focal point of the flyer. I already know S's are going to be dollar signs. It's going to be green. And there's some things that, I get a lot of inspiration from other people. So like, I saw like a Instagram reel of like someone who did like a blend effect. So it looks like it's popping out of the page. And I was like, all right, I'm going to try that. So I make it and I try it and I'm like, oh, whoa, this looks dope. And then after that, once you get like one central piece, you can kind of let your mind fill in the blanks around it. So you're like, okay, I got this. Well, that's going to look best on a black background. Maybe a black to gray gradient background. Okay, and now I have a block of text that I need. So let me just put that text there. And okay, now it's about money. How about I find someone holding a bunch of $100 bills and I find out Google vectors. I don't make everything myself. Some Googling, finding things other people made using them.
Copyright?
So...
we can cut this
No, it's cool. Because there's a loophole I found, which is in Illustrator, there's a button called Image Trace that takes a PNG image and it like basically takes the blocks and it makes it a vector, which is like it's like math, but it's like how shapes build. So it's how things are very smooth. And once you turn it into a vector, you can kind of edit it a little bit. And now it's mine. I did that. It's not yours anymore.
Believe you.
But yeah, so you build the pieces, and then a lot of it's dictated like, okay, I need to mention these dates. How can I do it in a fun way? So I'll make a little calendar icon and I'll put the things in. Then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna use this for everything now. If I ever need a date, I'll just grab this calendar icon. And yeah, it's a snowball effect. But every step of the way, I'm going over to my coworker and I'm like, hey, does this look cool? And he's like, yeah, or no. And then you go from there. It's like, I couldn't do it all alone. It's a collaborative effort. It's just I'm the one who's driving. It's like a backseat driver, which are usually the worst.
Yeah.
But, what if you're
not
it's
really
like
driving
it's like
if
you're
you're in the backseat.
It's like you're driving in your friend's hometown. And you don't really know the place. They know it, but they don't know how to drive because they're If you are over the age of 18, please get your driver's license. Okay?
I feel like you have some serious... I feel like you've had, like, 2 friends who didn't, and then you needed to say that to the video.
Yeah. It's just like, I don't want to pick you up all the time, man.
You want to shout them out right now?
Yasmin. And...
I didn't
it's just Yasmin. Yasmin, you need it.
Okay, just one.
And Chantel. 2 people. Driver's license, please. Okay, cool.
I'm cutting the rest of the interview.
Cut the rest out. In fact,
just...
cut everything I've said before this and just have it be that call out. I'll send it to them.
Yeah. You and Jamie Pemberton. He was like, I have beef. I'm going to use it to some people. Okay. I don't even remember my question. Okay. You were saying that it's a collaborative process to, So how do you brainstorm? Like, do you like to brainstorm with other people and like come up with ideas? Do you feel like being with other people and being able to talk to other people is like helpful for you creatively? I guess you already kind of said it.
No, I think it's very important. Not even in collaborating, but just having someone to bounce your ideas off of. For example, like when I did the car logo, it was for my friend's car club, and I made one logo, and I was like, cool, done. Sent it to him, and he was like, oh, this is cool. But let's do usually they have like a big one and they have a small one. And I was like, oh, I don't know what that means. What is a small one? And so we hopped on a FaceTime call, and for like 3 hours, we were just talking, just like hanging out. He would mention some ideas. I was screen sharing the whole time. I would just be like working on like what if the star went around it? I was like, what if the star went around it? Because I have the ability to make the star go around it, but I didn't think of that right off the bat. And that sort of just like having the ability to do something and knowing what to do are 2 very different things. You can have the skill set and the resources to make something, but you don't necessarily know what to make.
Yeah.
And someone might know what to make, but not have the resources and skills to do it. And I think if you can find like a perfect, like I think that's where like writing partners work well. It's like 2 people have different strengths and different weaknesses. And once you combine them, it doubles the strengths, half the weaknesses.
So how do you find those people? Because that's something I'm kind of struggling with.
That's life. That's life right there. I think I was lucky enough that I was already working in a place with similar people. He's a photographer and a videographer, so he's already kind of in that vibe. But I think more importantly is anybody can be that type of person. It doesn't necessarily matter if they're in a similar field to you. You know, it doesn't matter if they're also an artist or if they're also a filmmaker. It just matters that you trust them, or you care about them, or they care about you. Because if you show your friend something, they're going to want to support you. Even if they don't know how, just them trying to support you, you can take into consideration and figure out what that means. You know, like them just saying, "Oh, that's really cool," but what's the deal with that? Like, you know, they didn't give any specific feedback, but like now you can think, well, what is the deal with that? Why is that? And then you can ask them questions, because the artist and audience are 2 very important. They have a very important relationship. Is your audience does not know about you. They don't know about how you work. For example, you go to a museum, right? You look at a painting.
Yeah.
You get something out of that, but not necessarily what the painter had in mind.
Intended, yeah.
And so if you were to make a painting and show it to someone and be like, what are you getting out of this? They can tell you, or you can get a whole bunch of people and they can tell you. And then you can figure out what that means or what to where to go from there. You know, like where, is that what you wanted? Is it what you want now? You know, a lot of the times I'll make I'll make something and then they'll say, oh, that looks great. I really like how you do this. And I'm like, oh yeah, that is kind of cool. What if I take that further? What if I lean more into that? And sometimes that'll work, sometimes it won't, but you'll learn something from that.
Yeah. This is all really interesting.
Thank you.
Welcome. But I'm wondering if you've ever had, like, too much feedback, you know? Because I certainly have, and that can be overwhelming in its own right. How do you deal with that if you have too much feedback?
Yeah. Those aren't the things I like to talk about because it's so real. Is especially if it's your boss. Or let's rephrase it. If it's someone whose opinion you don't care about, and they give you a lot of feedback, or even let's step.
Okay.
Let's not go there. That's a hateful path, and I'm not going to go down that path. You get too much feedback. You have so many ideas. I think the first thing is feedback is just feedback. You do not have to do everything that everyone else wants you to do. Because you, at the end of the day, you are the guy who does it. You're the artist. And if I think it should be blue and you want it to be pink, who cares what I think? Okay? I'm one guy. I'm one dude. However, you get a lot of feedback and you're starting to think, because it sends you down a rabbit hole in your mind of like, when I get a lot of feedback, for me that rings alarm bells. What I did is bad.
Yeah.
This was not good because there was so much feedback and there were so many people with different ideas. So what I'll do is if I get really like a bunch of feedback or like a pivoting feedback, some of it'll be small and you can just ignore, or some of it's like, crucial, like a little typo or if something like was an editing mistake or something. But what I'll do is I'll usually make a copy of what I have now and start and just trying out the things that they mentioned on a new save, on a new version, and seeing if I like it. If they said make it blue, okay, let me save what I have, because I like that. I gave it to you for feedback, but I like that. All right, I'm going to make it blue. Do I like it as blue? No. Take the blue off. Next thing. Just like look at them one at a time, or like group them into some things. Or even it's like this, like you'll find a piece of feedback and you'll try that and you'll go, and then you'll go, wait, but what if it was blue? Then you switch to blue. Holy crap. Game changer. I feel like too much feedback is overwhelming.
Yeah.
But it's not a bad thing. It's just something that you have to learn how to manage. And the way you learn is by taking it one step at a time, Maybe, let's say you get a whole bunch of feedback. Analyze the feedback. Figure out what the core of that is, Is there one thing that most of the people are gravitating to? Is it like one aspect that people keep giving their own ideas to? If there's one aspect that people are gravitating towards, just isolate that aspect and figure out what you want from it. And if anything that they said relates to that or can be superimposed.
Yeah. This is a little bit, it's not personal, but this is like, I feel like I'm asking you when really I'm asking you about you, but just to ask you something about me that's also about you. Have you ever had like an idea and then you like don't know where to start on the idea, so you have feedback about the idea but you haven't started on the idea? And if you haven't, that's okay because it's about me, but it's really about you. So what do you think?
Well, first off, you phrased that wonderfully. That made perfect sense. Pre-feedback. Let's call it pre-feedback, which is feedback on just your already idea. These are other people giving you feedback to be like, or is this your own feedback?
No, well, it is my own feedback
feedback, but it's also like it's mostly other people.
I would say, if I were Hildy, I'm Hildy. Welcome to my show.
I can't relate. I'm Jacob.
Jacob, Hildy, you know how it be. I would just start something. Just with the current, just like your initial idea. Just do one thing. And that could just be, like, if you're making a film. Hold on.
Oh. Hello. Oh, hi.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh, that's okay. Hildy's just...
You have the tripod.
I've tried, but there's others.
Yeah, no, Reese was just looking for the one with the two, so I wanted
Oh,
to
no.
see
Does she need it now?
No, not right now. I just wanted
I can give it to her later. Continue.
Tripods, ladies and gentlemen. Hot commodity.
Oh. I don't love that.
If you're making a film, right?
Yeah.
Let's say you're making a show
What's it called?
called I don't know how to read.
I see how it is.
No.
Hildy got very creative.
Creativity with Hildy. That's a new concept I just came up with on the
That's such a
spot.
creative name. Yeah.
Okay. And I'm making a film. The first thing I'll do.
Okay.
Just make a project file called Creativity with
What if
Hildy.
it's called Creativity Project and Research?
Well, that's even better, folks.
Oh,
That's
okay.
even better
Okay,
to have
great.
it called that. It's just get something, your original idea, and then if they got
Can it be
pre-feedback,
on a tab that's called Process?
I don't see why not. I don't see why
Okay,
it couldn't be a process. It's just start, and if people have pre-feedback, write it down and then save it for later. You don't have to tackle everything right away. I would say just like do what you're doing. Like if you're making an interview show called Creativity with Hildy, and you're worried about your editing process instead of the interview, just interview people, and that'll come later. Because because I'm Hildy right now. I'm Hildy, and that's Jacob.
I'm
Hildy.
Jacob.
She's Jacob. I'm Hildy. As I'm filming these interviews, which I have been, I bet I'm planning out like, oh, that was good. Ooh, that was a good bit. Or I'm connecting themes across other interviews. Like, oh, people are talking about this. Or, oh, this vibe is similar to that vibe. And just like keeping those things in the back of your head as you keep going along. And then once you've got your stuff, then you can deal with it. Then you can deal with how you put it together. And you're copying my hand motions.
No, I'm not.
Because she's Jacob and I'm Hildy. And Hildy doesn't do hand motions. So I'm gonna say
No! That was a personal attack. Jacob's very Jacob likes to talk like, because I'm Jacob.
Yeah, no, exactly.
I got the friend with the car.
With the friend and many cars.
Many cars.
Many cars.
Talk
None of them
John
work.
Mulaney.
I
see it.
She sees it. But yeah, I mean, like, it's your idea. It's what you want to do, so do it. And don't let anybody else, like, get in your head about how they would do it. Because they're not doing it. You're doing it.
Just do it.
Just do it. Nike. Oh, I copyrighted your whole thing. So.
Oh, no. Wow. Thanks for that therapy session interview answer, Hildy Jacob.
Of course.
I have one more question.
Hit me.
For you. If you could give any... Okay, well, you kind of just did, but that was very personal. This is more general. Like, as Buddha. If you could give any advice about being creative, what would it be?
I'm not a very careful person with my words. I love to throw word soup around. So I'm going to try to condense it.
You could also,
Let's see what other people do.
Right, oh, no, that's not, well...
Just to see, not just because I'm an original, and I would never do anything similar to anybody else ever based on my ability to steal clip art.
Hello?
Yellow?
Oh.
We're just about done.
It
I
is
just gotta
exactly 6 o'clock.
I just gotta write down
to
something on the board here.
You guys look like you're having fun.
Who let me have fun?
Oh! Well, thank you for joining me
Interview
today.
That's the.
All right.
You can also.
No.
I usually people say it and then
I'm
I
gonna
pause
say
it,
it.
but you could write it and
No.
then say it. Okay.
I'm gonna feel it. I'm feeling it. Creativity, and this is advice that I wish I would follow as well.
Okay.
Creativity is about you.
Is that it?
That's it. Creativity is about you. It is about what you want to create. And don't let anybody else drag you down